What if you could see the future just by reading the news? Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to unpack the tech headlines from one single day in the near future to get a glimpse of the world we're building. Let's dive in.
So, the day we're looking at is April 23rd, 2026. Now, it might seem totally random, but the stories that broke on this one day, they are deeply, deeply connected, and together, they paint a surprisingly clear picture of where our technology is really heading.
So, here's the big question. Can we actually take all these separate threads, I'm talking smart TVs, national tech strategies, all of it, and weave them together to see what's coming next? I think we can. Let's see how it all connects.
All right, to get started, let's just get a quick feel for the landscape of the day. What was actually happening in the world of tech on April 23rd, 2026?
It was a busy one, for sure. Samsung was out there showing off new TVs with AI built right in. A company called Synoptics was making that same AI faster and way more private. Meanwhile, phone prices were climbing in Europe. Turkey announced a pretty bold new national tech plan, and you could hear whispers of a screenless future getting louder. Let's start connecting these dots.
First up, let's head into the living room. See, artificial intelligence isn't some far-off abstract idea anymore. By 2026, it's being built directly into the most familiar screen in pretty much all of our homes, the television.
On this particular day, Samsung was showcasing its new AI-powered TVs, and the star of the show was this feature called AI Upscaling Pro. Basically, using deep learning, these TVs can take older, lower-quality stuff, like that classic movie or streaming or even a video game, and intelligently sharpen it, cut down the noise, and boost the detail to make it look absolutely incredible on a modern 8K screen.
Now, here's what's really interesting. Look how specific this AI has become. Just in time for the 2026 World Cup, Samsung rolled out AI Soccer Mode. The TV automatically recognizes you're watching a match and just optimizes everything. It makes the ball 40% clearer, makes the colors of the pitch more vivid, and it even balances the sound of the crowd and the commentator to give you that real stadium-like experience. This is AI not as some gimmick, but as a real, tangible upgrade to our everyday lives.
So, we've seen what AI can do in our living rooms, but the even bigger story from April 23rd is about how this is all possible. The engine that's driving all these smart devices, well, it's going through a massive shift. And the key concept here is something called Edge AI. For years, all our smart devices sent our data to powerful servers up in the cloud for processing. Edge AI totally flips that model. The thinking, the processing, it all happens right here, on the device itself. On the edge of the network.
And on this very same day, a company called Synaptics was showing off its new Astra chips designed for Edge AI. The benefits? They're pretty dramatic. First up, speed. Because your data doesn't have to travel to a server and back, processing is up to 10 times faster.
And this brings us to the biggest selling point of all, privacy. With Edge AI, your personal data, your voice commands, your family photos, what your security camera sees, it never actually leaves your device. It stays with you, which offers 100% privacy from a data breach perspective.
This also means your device's core smart features don't even need an internet connection to work. So your smart assistant can still set a timer, and your camera can still identify a person at the door even if your Wi-Fi decides to go down.
And finally, it's just incredibly efficient. All that back and forth chatter with the cloud, it eats up a lot of power. By doing the processing locally, Edge AI uses up to 80% less energy, which is a total game changer, especially for battery-powered devices. So, okay, we've got more powerful, more private AI. Awesome. But this wave of innovation, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It creates these real economic ripple effects. And on April 23rd, 2026, you can bet consumers were feeling it right in their wallets. Let's just take a quick look at the European mobile market. It is a battleground. You've got the American giant Apple leading the pack. Right behind them is Korea's Samsung, and then a growing number of really aggressive Chinese brands like Xiaomi. This intense competition, it's driving innovation, but it's also driving up costs.
News reports from this day broke down exactly why phones were getting more expensive. For one, the cost of basic stuff like memory chips was up 14%. But the bigger deal is all that cutting-edge tech we want, foldable screens and those powerful new Edge AI chips. It's expensive. Then you add in new EU tariffs and the simple fact that brands feel like they have to include premium tech to stand out, and well, you've got a recipe for higher prices.
But here's the thing. This competition isn't just between companies like Apple and Samsung. Let's zoom out a bit.
Because on this same day, we also saw how this whole tech race is playing out on a global scale, becoming a huge part of national strategy. A major Turkish tech firm, Anadolu Technology, laid out its roadmap for 2026, and just look at these goals. This isn't just about selling more products. It's about building sovereign capability. They're developing their own AI models trained on the Turkish language, launching a national cybersecurity center to protect their own infrastructure, and using technology as a tool for economic influence in the region.
So, the crucial point here is that this single day in April isn't some isolated event. As this timeline shows, it's all part of a much bigger story. The Edge AI chips announced at CES in January, they enable the AI-powered TVs from April. And both of those things contribute to the price hikes we saw in February. You see? It's all connected. So where is all of this actually heading? We've got powerful private AI running locally on our devices. What does that ultimately enable? Well, on April 23, 2026, the conversation was turning to the next great leap, a future that might not be centered around the screens we hold in our hands.
This quote from OpenAI Sam Altman was making the rounds. He described their upcoming device, planned for late 2026, as a quieter alternative to the smartphone. And the idea here is that with powerful local AI, you won't need to constantly pull out a phone and stare at a screen. You could interact with technology through your voice, through gestures, maybe through smart glasses or pins, letting the tech just kind of fade into the background.
So this single day in 2026 really reveals the core tension of our tech future. On one hand, we're gaining incredible benefits, true data privacy, richer experiences, and the promise of being more present in the real world. But the trade-off is higher costs, new questions about these always-on devices, and just the challenge of adapting to totally new ways of living with technology.
Ultimately, what this one day in April 2026 shows us is that the most important part of this whole story isn't the tech itself. Not really. It's about the choices we make. We're the ones who have to decide how to balance the amazing benefits of these powerful new tools with their costs and their challenges, and how to weave them into our lives in a way that's actually meaningful.
And so I'll leave you with this final thought. All these trends, smarter homes, private AI, screenless devices, they all point to a future where technology is less of a thing we hold and more of an invisible layer that's just all around us. So the question we really have to ask ourselves is this: as our devices disappear, what does our relationship with technology truly become? Does it free us, or does it bind us in new, unseen ways?